are streaming. We're good. We're streaming.
Good, well, is it?
Got 1 minute.
We got 8:29.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I have 8:30.
I'll come to order here. We'll get the Commissioners' meeting open on May 6th here with a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning all, welcome to our visitors. We'll start off this morning with Highway Department. Jason? You want to start with a bid opening, Jason?
Yeah, that way.
Jim? Go ahead, we'll start with the bid opening for community crossing projects.
Okay, we have community crossing projects, and it looks like, Jason, we have a number of community crossing items, 17 in all, is that correct?
Yes.
You got notice to bidders out, and we had 3 responses, one from E&B Paving, one from Millstone Contractors LLP, and one from Fenn and Brown, Inc. And I'll open E&B first. Okay, from the top item, they've gone through the 17 items, put dollar figures on each one, and the total is $2,138,274. I don't know, do you want those broken down by per item, or are you going to bid this all as a package?
Just like that, yep.
Yeah,
Is that
okay.
Millstone?
That was E&B, I'm sorry. $2,138,274. 2,138,274. And then it looks like they have a number of their other bid documents that typically should follow. Okay, now I'll open Millstone. Looks like they also have the 17 items listed, and their total is $1,901,806.31. $1,901,806.31. And it appears, just from a quick look-see, they've got other documentation that is usually required. And the last one, Fenn and Brown. $17 items listed. Item proposal summary total is $2,199,693.70. $2,199,693.70. And it appears they have the documentation that goes with it.
I'll make a motion that we take these under, give them to Jason and have him go over the bids.
Second.
Motion been made second to take the bids from E&B, Milestone, and Fenn and Brown. The Highway Department take them under review. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our road cuts and bores and aerial. First is CCI Systems. Item number 1 is West US 6, County Line to Union, 2898 West US 6, pulling off 1C, Polk Township. Number 2 is 6B, Union to Tamarack, 19336 6B Road, Polk Township. Number 3 is Nutmeg, 3rd to 4th, 3476 Nutmeg Road, North Township. Number 4 is 7th, Pear to Queen, 16331 7th Road, Polk Township. Are these all,
Those was the
Boards.
CCI ones, and the next ones are NIPSCO.
are they all bores?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Motion to approve for
Second.
CCI Systems.
Second.
Motion made second, to approve the 4 project for CCI Systems road bores. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, we have NIPSCO, basically replace utility poles, includes overhead equipment and transfer conductors, wires to new pole. First one is Elm, 10th to 11B, Bourbon Township. The second one is 7th, Ironwood to Filbert Center, Bourbon Township. That's it for them.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the 2 projects for NIPSCO. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Excuse me. Third one is Precision Utility Groups, Brightspeed, customer service request. First one is 4th, Elm to State Road 331, it's a bore in German Township. And the second was Suter, 9th to 9A Road, a bore, 9140 Suter Road, Center Township.
I'll make a motion to approve the Brightspeed application for Precision Utility Group.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the 2 requests for Brightspeed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Bridge number 1, Ewell Trail. Currently working on bridge design and development and Waters of US report. Bridge 232, reviewing utility work plans, finishing reviewing the sign. Bridge 231, coring of the arch is scheduled for the week of May 13th. NDOT COR is recommending a consulting party meeting to discuss the HBPA before it is approved. So we will be getting a meeting scheduled, and we'll want to try they will want the core results present at the meeting. Bridge 88, 12th Road, east of Olive Trail, working on project design and plans, Mill Pond Dam improvements. Terracon has been contacted to do the boring work for that. Should be getting a date to complete the work. It was estimated at about $10,000 for it. Mitigations, 81 Hickory Road, the 6-year maintenance and monitoring has been completed. Road work, our reclaiming has begun. Elm Road Rose, Main 9C. Weather permitting, we hope to get those sprayed this week with prime. And those were the community crossing projects that were to be prepped when they were ready. 2024 road program, roads as well. Should be finishing up this week on the reclaimed roads and start spraying them with prime. We'll be prepping roads for Rejuve Tech to spray. Crack seal will most likely begin next week. Weather permitting, we hope to start paving next week. Would like to get about 5 miles completed before we start chip sealing. Community crossing contract, that was signed by DocuSign. I think that was sent to Stan, is that correct, Angie? You have that one?
Yes.
Just want to make that noted, that was done. Annual operations.
We need a motion for that, to ratify that, for your community crossings grant.
So I need a motion to approve Stan signing the DocuSign for Community Crossings 2020.
I'll make that motion that we allow the president of the board to sign the application for the community crossings.
Second.
Motion made second to have the president of the board sign on behalf of the board for the community crossings applications. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Annual operations report, have that done. Sent that to you guys to take the meeting before for signature on approval. All 3 of you have that.
You want to see that?
That's all.
Jason ended up.
Probably want a
Didn't you
motion on
send
that,
to us?
don't we?
Didn't you send that to us before?
Yes.
We need to prove that too, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Highway Department's annual report.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the Highway Department's annual report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
NOFA call for projects, Bridge 108, the RFPs have been received. There was 4 firms that submitted, VS Engineering, United Consulting, USI, and DLZ. We'll be starting the scoring process for selection of, submittal of the scoring to NDOT for approval, and proceed with contract agreements with the top-ranking consulting firm. The EECBG grant, which technically is the EV grant, that agreement has been signed by DocuSign for $154,333. That signed agreement was sent to Angie. I'd like approval on that to proceed.
Motion to approve the grant agreement. Is that just with Stan's signature?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
With the
DocuSign.
with the president of the board signing.
Second.
Motion made second, approve the agreement for the DocuSign for the two new electric trucks, correct?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Bridge maintenance, the RFQs will be posted May 9th and be opened at the May 20th Board of Commissioners meeting. And just general topic here, the detour routes that we're running into with like the state. As we know, the state projects that involve state road closures does get approval from the county. That's known as the unofficial detour route. The unofficial detour route is an agreement with the state that is intended for local residents and/or their deliveries or visitors to have access with less amount of inconvenience as possible for residents in the remote area. What we have been dealing with is traffic not following the state detour routes. With this just passed through, drivers are actually driving up to the barricades where the road is actually barricaded off, then taking the local detour routes around, then taking back off on the state road, opposed to the state road detours that they're supposed to follow. I think the big thing was just even the public understands that there is an agreement with us, that there is an unofficial detour route that the state does get approved. The problem we run into is traffic doesn't oblige by them. So any of the state that technically they should go down, semis, whatever, dump trucks go around on state routes, they're actually going to these local routes and going around. So I know we passed the no-through truck, but it wasn't, and this might be something, Jim, to chime in a little bit on. It was somewhat posted for specific roads. With that being said, can we post that on roads that we feel or see that are getting this that should not be?
I have to look at that ordinance, but I don't know that we designated certain roads in the ordinance. I think we designated, we put signs up where we think it needs to be. So I would say on motion by the commissioners, if they think that's appropriate.
That we could post?
I'd have to go back and look at the ordinance specifically, but I don't recall us specifying that it only applied to certain county roads.
It's my understanding it applied to all roads, whether we're posted or not.
Yeah, exactly.
And to go farther, Jason and I talked to us last week, and we talked about this, a year or so ago, a year and a half ago? And he had talked about hiring out of his budget a couple of off-duty deputies to go out there and write tickets if these trucks seem to keep doing it. I will tell you up here, what was that bridge we was at on south off of 6, a detour last
2B
summer?
Road?
Yeah. I mean, that wood bridge just rattled every time a truck went across it, just shook it apart. And that's what we need to try to stop.
And it is going to have havoc, and even if you present even to the state of changing that detour route, say another mile segment, that's just that much more that adds to their potential cost too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if it passed load limits and everything, outside of being a gravel, usually they're going to want to stick on paved roads, hard surface roads. So unless it is a gravel section, they may extend that another half mile or mile to go back up to that state route. But majority of the time, it really doesn't play a factor into what the road condition or travel is, which I get.
But, I mean, we can put signs up, but
Has there been
the
any,
problem is we need to
Any-
get law enforcement out there.
yeah,
I mean, that's the
has there
problem.
been any tickets given since we put all these signs up over? One ticket out of how many signs we put up?
Yeah.
One that I'm aware of. My understanding, and before checking on this, he can hire an off-duty deputy and they can write the ticket. If you go to like Bremen, Culver, whoever, they have to be sworn in to write that ticket on behalf of the county. But it can be
Sworn
done.
in by the sheriff,
Sworn in by the sheriff, yes, correct.
will he do it?
It's one way to find out.
I just think before we start going, buying signs and slapping them up all over there, that, I think there needs to be a discussion with the sheriff's department. If he's going to enforce this or not enforce it, I don't see any use in putting signs up myself, but I don't know why go to that added expense.
If they're,
Because if you
unless
look
you're
at
gonna
down.
enforce it, there's
all-
no reason to put
Exactly.
signs.
Yeah. But all these county roads that they have these signs up,
I mean, the only thing you could speculate is when we get those unofficial detour routes
Yeah.
to come in and when they start, literally put them up right at that time.
I'm not sure you
But-
need, I'm sorry,
go ahead.
No, I'm not sure you need the signs to write the ticket, because we have the ordinance in place.
That was one thing that they requested when we contacted the
Okay.
sheriff's department. But again, based upon how it would be written, as a semi-driver or dump truck driver, whoever coming up to that, I mean, literally, if it's not posted,
But if the sheriff deputies would enforce it, and one of their requests would be signage, and they'll do it, it's a small price to pay to get them out there doing their thing. But I think you need a commitment that they're gonna do it.
We'll let Jason talk to the sheriff
That would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
and then we'll go from there. Bring it back to us in 2 weeks, talk to him.
and I did reach out to the sheriff, and he did, that's one of the requests he did say was, basically be sure there's no through truck signs
Signs.
posted out there. So I know that we've taken them out and posted them. So I know they're up.
Okay. Offer up.
Some of those deputies would get out there just a few days and get the
Yeah.
word out.
Yeah,
It don't take long, I don't.
Yeah,
no, it won't take much, a couple tickets.
I know.
So, okay. That's all I got.
Anybody got anything, Jason?
Yeah, well,
And you had
I
this, Angie.
figured we might, since Jason's sitting here, that Milner Drain up there, that is on your attorney report. You're okay with paying a quarter of that construction of that tile
Yes,
between Jim Berger
yes,
and the two neighbors?
because it benefits us too.
Pardon me?
It does benefit us too.
Yeah. Because it looked like water was stretching out onto, is it Jarrow Road there?
So I guess I'll make a motion that we, because Jim in his attorney report says agreement is ready for the commissioner's approval on behalf of the highway department. So I would go ahead and make that motion that we approve that the highway department contribute a fourth of the cost of that tile for the Milner Shellberger new arm.
Second.
Motion made second to have the highway, to approve the highway department paying a quarter of the expense for the Milner Shellberger new arm tile. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, that, the drainage board was gonna pay a fourth, and then
Right.
each landowner was gonna pay a fourth, so,
Right.
and the total was 13,000
Yeah, it
some.
was
something like
not
that.
much money.
Anything from Jason?
I do not.
Anything else?
No.
You got anything else, Jason?
That's it.
We approve all your agreements?
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Next, Janice, Marshall County Council on Aging.
Morning.
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 I have a couple things for you this morning. First thing is our first quarter claim. And we had a total of $149,138 in expenses. And revenues of $14,823, which left us with a net of $134,315. So half of that is the claim to NDOT for the 5311. We also put in 20,000 of the PMTF that we have coming this year, which left a local match of 47,158. Some of the stats for the quarter, our trips were 7,692. That was up again over 600 from last quarter. I think we were open a few more days because of the holidays in the last quarter and stuff. But again, we're constantly going up, up, up. So that's a good thing. And actually our denials were a little bit down. So we're trying really hard to get everybody in that we can. So that's our claim.
When you have 91 on a county, are those going to doctor's appointments in other?
I would say probably 95% of them are going to
Okay.
doctor's appointments, yes. And we go anywhere, pretty much anywhere in the northern half of Indiana. So we do go to Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, and we go to South Bend and Mishawaka probably an average of 6 or 7 times a day.
Wow.
Do you need approval of this, that we accepted that?
Please, yes.
A motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made second to accept Janice's report, quarterly report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We need one to approve the claim for the 40, we need one to approve the claim for the 47,158.
Motion to approve the claim for $47,158 for the local match.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the claim of $47,158 for local match. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Angie.
Next thing I have is our application to NDOT is due next week for next year. So we're looking at a budget of $609,907 for our operating. I'm expecting a revenue of around $55,000, and that's passenger fares and some other tickets, Medicaid, that kind of stuff, which leaves a federal share of $277,453. So we will also match that locally, but that would include the $57,000 that we get from the state as well. And then we also want to buy 2 more new vehicles next year. And that total is $213,981. That would be for 1 medium transit bus and 1 minivan. And for those, it's, the federal match is 80%, and we just have to come up with the 20% for both those vehicles. So I have lots of things that go along with that, which I'll give Angie for signatures and things. But we, I think, need a motion for that as well.
Need a motion
If-
to
if-
approve?
Have you been pretty successful on getting new vehicles through this process? I know
Finally,
there was a
yes.
time where you couldn't get anything,
Right.
but have you kind of rebounded a little bit and getting rid of some of your
We're
older?
getting there.
Are you?
We did get 2 new ones last year.
That's what I thought.
Which was the first time in 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they just put everything on hold and the chip shortage and all that
Yeah.
stuff. We're also going to get 2 new ones this year, and then 2 new,
Oh,
hopefully,
okay.
next year. But right now, like, we have 10 vehicles. The 2 that we got last year are the only ones that aren't past their useful life. So we have 8 vehicles that are already past 100,000 miles.
Okay.
So Angie, do we pass this, is this resolution, is that what we need to pass? Make a motion to pass resolution number 2024-2. It's an authorizing resolution for the Council on Aging.
Second.
Motion made second to pass resolution number 2024-2, the Council on Aging. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
You got anything, Mike?
I do not.
That's
Thank
my
you.
question.
The sub-recipient
I
agreement
have
we
my
have
questions.
with Council on Aging still is in effect. You know, they're supposed to make sure they do their thing properly and all that good stuff. And
That's why she comes.
yeah, that's why she comes. And so it's going to have a lot of signatures. And did I see one of those forms required me to sign something too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe two even. for you.
Pardon me?
I said maybe two even for you, I think. Yes. But they're-
Lucky you.
Thank you. But I'll do my part.
Okay, all right, very good.
Next, we have Marshall County Hope, Thomas Kennard. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I'm,
The I in there kind of fooled me a little bit.
I
so-
know, I get canared a lot.
Okay.
So, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. Last month, Annette Haining and Sandy Dunphy were here to express gratitude for entrusting Marshall County Hope with opioid settlement funding, and I apologize for not being able to be here. Had some bus troubles coming back from Georgia, so I brought some numbers, but just wanted to ask you if you had specific questions that you were curious about as far as Marshall County Hope and what the funding would be used for, I think is what the,
That would be a good question.
yeah, definitely. So,
Because I guess my question, well, go ahead.
all right, so the two main, from the Project Hope days, the two main pieces that we know that we wanted to continue were our peer recovery coach services, which is the just one-on-one, life-on-life services that are offered to recoveries for free here in Marshall County. We have had 4 peer recovery coaches throughout the process. 2 of them are still working with us, Sky Vickers and Jessica Joseph. And throughout the time of Project Hope to the current day, which would be from about October of 2020 to the present, about 273 recoveries have been served through those peer recovery coach services, which is again free because of the funding that we have. Individuals don't need to be insured. They don't need to have any kind of payment. They are just helped and served at whatever point in their recovery journey that they're on. The other main piece that we wanted to make sure that we continue that requires funding is purchasing vouchers for transportation from Council on Aging. Janice and Council on Aging has been a great partner for us. And since the first ride in May of 2021 to the present day, there have been about 2,295 rides given to individuals who are on the journey to recovery. Transportation is a big issue for individuals, whether they don't have their license currently or are working on getting their license reinstated. That's been a big piece as well. Marshall County Hope, previously Project Hope, has been a part of some other things as well, funding what's called Remedy Live, which is a program implemented in schools dealing with everything from substance use to suicide and other difficult topics. And Project Hope funded that as well, and it served about 2,300 students in Marshall County from all the various school districts. So those are some of the things that funding has been used for in the past. Like I said, the peer recovery coach services and the transportation vouchers are the 2 ongoing pieces that we know that we need funding for. There are processes in place as well for us to use future funding in wise ways. There's guidance from the state of Indiana as far as what the restricted opioid funds can be used for. It's a wonderfully exciting 15-page document full of guidelines of what we're able to use those fundings for. So we'll obviously be using that as a guide. But also the Marshall County Hope Consortium itself, which is, as of last count, 55 people from different sectors throughout the county who will kind of be leading the way as far as how we're going to be identifying what gaps there are and what needs to have more funding. We're currently working with Purdue Extension to implement a tool that will help us kind of create a map of the journey that our recovery takes throughout their experience with substance use, which will help us identify what work we've already done, but also what still needs to be done and where we can use those fundings. Also, I lead another committee called the Suicide Overdose Fatality Review, SOFR. It's a committee, again, made up of people from different sectors across the county, and we review individual cases of people who have died from suicide or overdose. We bring any data that we have to create a timeline of their life and then just have a deep discussion of what are we missing? where are we maybe dropping the ball? How can we work better together? How can we maybe prevent further loss of life in those sorts of the deaths of despair? So, do you have any particular questions for me that I haven't covered so far?
Have you gone to, Bowen Center is involved in how many counties across the state?
Lots.
But,
Yeah.
so what has the other counties, have they contributed that money to this other programs similar to the Hope in their counties, or?
So I don't have knowledge myself of this kind of work being done in any
Okay.
other county. We
Oh.
have a couple of partners in Elkhart and St. Joe County, and they've kind of expressed the same thing, that what's happening here in Marshall County with Marshall County Hope and just the size of this consortium, they encourage me regularly by telling me that this is really exciting, and it's not work that they're seeing happening in their own counties, and so they're excited to partner with us and be a part of something that is really having some great effects.
So this is, and I know that we are required by law, state law, to contribute a certain percentage of our assessed evaluation for Marshall County and the other counties that are involved in this of, I think last year or this year, it's what, $380,000 or somewhere around in there.
Somewhere around there.
So what's that money used for? Is that just for operations? And this is above what that is then too?
Sure. So the salaries for the peer recovery coaches, the salary for my position as the coordinator of Marshall County Hope, but most of that money is for future projects that we're
Okay.
just now finding out what are those gaps, what are the missing pieces. It's a lot of things that we're finding is going to require funding. The Suicide Overdose Fatality Review Team has been in functioning since February of 2023. And up until this point, we've not had funding to put behind anything. So
Okay.
it's really exciting as we develop recommendations. We take those recommendations to the Crossroads Health and Wellness Team, so we're plugged into that decision-making body as well. And so having some funding in Marshall County Hope to be able to put towards projects it's a new season of discussion that we're able to have. It's just a really exciting time.
Any more, Mike?
Angie and I talked a bit about, using the restricted opioid funds for some funding with Hope. And I think we kind of jointly agree that it would be wise to have an MOU or a subrecipient agreement similar to what we've done with other entities if we're going to use that funding so that we can be sure that they're using it for treatment, counseling, education that fits those guidelines that he talked about with the state, and not get outside of all of that, so.
I guess my question is, and I think you guys are doing a great thing for those people that get hooked on drugs and their recovery, but I think our DTF is back up and running again, and I think this opioid, if we can keep it from coming into the county and get these people arrested before it gets distributed, I think we would be helping the DTF and helping them to keep, I don't know.
You
Is
might
that-
be able to use the unrestricted for that, but I don't know if you can use the restricted for that. I don't think law enforcement was ever in any of the possibilities from the state
I
website.
don't believe so. The 15-page document is quite dense, but I don't recall seeing anything with law enforcement in there.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying, and I certainly would be wise use, I think, of the unrestricted funds.
But you don't think the restricted can
But
be used?
I'm not sure, I don't recall, I'd have to go back and look, but I don't remember ever seeing anything in there about using those funds for law enforcement.
Okay.
Could you check, Father, and make sure? Because
Yeah.
he's got a good point.
Yeah, I agree, does have a good point.
The spirit of the restricted funds is with prevention, treatment, and education, right?
Okay.
And that's
Exactly.
more focused on the individuals who have been affected, and kind of filling in the gaps, helping them in their recovery. So Yeah. The unrestricted funds, obviously, they're unrestricted, so there's a much broader use for those. I am making kind of a tour of the different city councils and decision-making bodies to talk about those unrestricted funds as well, because, you know, in that 15-page document, it's full of all those restrictions. But we are finding in our committee meetings and in reviewing those cases, needs for recoveries that don't necessarily fit into those restricted rules. And so we're at some point going to be coming up with recommendations and bringing them to the health and wellness team that might not fit within those guidelines. And so,
But I agree with everything that you guys are doing, but I still think that we need to find some funding to help the DTF out to stop this. Because I think a few weeks ago, they had a big bust over in Bourbon for, I don't remember, somebody said it was the largest bust they had in Marshall County of drugs. So I just think that we need to look at both, how do we help them, but how do we help DTF with
No,
funding?
I don't disagree, but I just am telling you that I think, I don't recall law enforcement, I'll check,
Okay.
but I don't
You
recall
wanna-
law enforcement being one of the activities you could use for
Okay.
that restricted funding. I mean, this all started because we had overdose deaths and
Yeah.
and people that needed treatment and counseling and education, and that's what our legislature in its wisdom decided it should make sure it just sticks with all of that.
Yeah.
and as far as transparency and MOUs, I mean, I'm 100% on board with making sure that we're doing our due diligence to communicate with you,
Okay.
making sure that you know where those monies are going. Marshall County Hope is an open group, so open invitation. If you'd like to come to any of the meetings, I can get that information to you as far as when and where those meetings occur. We just love to have anyone who would like to be a part of the process and understand what's happening to have all of the input and information that they need. So.
Thank you.
Have you guys approved some funding of the restricted funding for Hope yet or not?
No, no, we have
Okay.
not.
Well, if you do, I'm suggesting that we couple that with a subrecipient agreement MOU.
Well, under the circumstances, if we can't help the DTF and that we have to use the restricted funds for this, then I'm okay with it. But on the other hand, I still would like to have an MOU between the county and Bowen Center, you know. I don't think it has to be in great detail, but what is this money being used for and what programs? And so I would be okay with that.
Yep.
We did have, there was a motion at the last meeting for the unrestricted to go to Project Hope.
Yep.
Okay.
Because I do have an invoice from them, but without an MOU, I didn't really want to move forward.
Right.
Until we had some sort of an agreement, because I'll have to file paperwork with the state on how that money's spent. So I would prefer to have an MOU in place before we pay anything out, or before anything else goes with this.
Sandy,
Well, here comes Sandy.
Sandy, I'm saying you got something to add.
No, I
She's
just
been
wanted,
jumping at the bit.
sorry, Sandy Dunphy from Administrator at the Health Department. No, on the consortium, we have like probation, law enforcement. I mean, we are getting input from them as well to see if there's anything that we can do that would fit into what they're doing to help them. And then education is another big thing, because we want prevention. So there's where we're going to work with Annette, you know, to whatever it needs to be.
But I also
Yeah.
think we need to work with the DTF to keep them out.
Okay, and I don't know, that's the what, I'm sorry? What's DTF?
Drug Task Force.
Okay, all right, yeah, I mean, it's certainly, if there's something we can assist them with, we would want to do that.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it is about the prevention.
Yeah, it is.
We agree with that.
Okay.
So Jim, would you prefer a motion to have you work out a MOU with Project Hope before we move forward and issue the check?
Yes,
And you and Thomas get together?
sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to be complicated,
No,
but it's just
no.
going to be,
Just a simple
yeah.
guideline where the money's going to go.
Yep,
Then we can approve that on the 20th?
sure.
You okay with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, get with Jim and we get something worked out and we'll look at that the 20th, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks both of you. Got anything else, Mike? You have
No.
your phone? I'm sorry.
Did you want that as a motion?
Well,
Or you just
We'll do the
recommending it?
motion, we'll get it
Okay.
together, and then we'll approve it once it's
Okay.
together.
Thank you.
Okay, so we can
It'll
go.
be on the agenda.
Oh,
Huh?
Put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, put an agenda for next meeting,
We'll do that.
please. Next is the US 3031 Propel
No.
Coalition, Thomas Spalding.
That is not on there.
That's not, he's not here, is he?
no.
He couldn't make it.
No. I put a new agenda up there. We took that off.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes,
you must
I'm
have
sorry,
the
I
other
got
one.
my old agenda. Marshall Stark Development Center, Rick Thompson. There he is.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Morning.
Well, just wanted to say, thank you for allowing me to come and give you guys an update. Your support of MSDC over the years has always been appreciated, and I just wanted to spend a few minutes with you to highlight some of the things that are happening with us and that have been made possible in part by your support. To give you a better idea of the scope of our services, I wanted to give you first some quick demographic information. We are the primary provider of services to close to 300 adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And those individuals come from 7 area counties: Fulton, LaPorte, Lake, St. Joe, Kosciuszko, Sark, and Marshall. And the majority reside here in Marshall County. Services include residential, day programs, and both center-based and community employment. And in addition to services for adults, we also serve close to 200 children in our Head Start and Early Head Start programs. We provide transportation for our services to 95 individuals. And in the past year, we have provided close to 150,000 round trips to individuals we serve. And we currently maintain a fleet of 28 vehicles. And when we are fully staffed, we employ approximately 175 full-time employees, with over half of that number being individuals from Marshall County. So spend a few minutes just giving you a few highlights from the past year. Again, thanks to your assistance and support, we were able to partner with Vermilion Systems to purchase a system that fully secures our building and provides another layer of safety for our clients and staff. That has been a wonderful upgrade. Also, in the past year, we began transforming our programs to have an employment-first emphasis. And what that really means, in short, is that everything that we do has a vocational focus with the overall goal of increasing community employability for our clients. We've learned that area employees still continue to struggle with finding skilled, dependable workers, and individuals with disabilities are some of the highest performing and dependable employees available, but they still remain vastly underemployed and underrepresented in the workplace. So what we're working real hard to do is to create a win-win solution for both employers and the individuals we serve. And then one of the more exciting highlights is the growth of our performing arts program. This group has most recently completed their second feature-length film. So this was an original screenplay that was written and produced in-house, and 95% of the cast and crew of the film were made up of individuals with disabilities. The film was entitled I Heard It Through the Blueberry Vine, and was filmed throughout the county, including in several downtown Plymouth businesses. Just a few weeks ago, we had our film premiere at the Reese Theater, and that was a wonderful event. And at that same time, we partnered with Heartland Arts to host an artist panel discussion with professionals from the film industry, and that allowed our individuals who were in the film to have conversations and interact with professional actors, and so it was just a great day. And we do have plans to submit the film for consideration to several film festivals, so we're pretty excited about that. So as you can see, things are busy at MSDC, and we continue to be excited about the opportunities we are working to provide for those that we serve. And as you also know, we operate on a razor-thin margin, and your continued support makes it possible for us to continue providing life-enhancing services to the individuals with disabilities from our community. I would like to welcome the opportunity to have you visit see firsthand the great things that are happening. Commissioner Overmeyer has been out to visit, and the offer is extended to the rest of you as well. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Special thanks for the,
Security?
for the security there as well. I'm sorry, I'm throwing on my board hat.
Switching hats.
But
It really made a big difference.
Are you still receiving federal funding or no funding from the federal government?
Well, we receive funding through Medicaid, so it's kind of,
Medicaid.
it's a pass-through.
The pass-through?
Federal money going to the state to us. And it's a fee for
It's a
service.
slow process,
It can be.
Yeah.
They're doing pretty good right now.
are they?
Yeah.
I think, what do we have, 130?
130.
130? Would you like us to budget that again for 20?
I would absolutely love that, yes.
Not that
And
might be
any
why
more
you're
that you want.
here. And even more?
Yes, we would have a good use for it.
And you're still purchasing gas on at the highway department,
Yes, we are.
correct?
That's-
Okay,
That makes a big difference as well. Appreciate that.
yeah.
Anything else? You got anything, Mike?
No, very appreciative of everything that you do for the quality of life for these 500 individuals.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
for
Thanks.
what you do. Attorney report.
Actually, not much of an attorney report. On Tamarack Solar, Attorney Hall's been working on draft road use agreement and draft decommissioning agreement with NV Energy and Tamarack Solar. And I know that I've requested a telephone conference. Actually, I have one set up for Thursday. Unfortunately, Jason's not available that day because of a district meeting, so I've got to meet with him. And he as well is working on, in particular, the road use item. So we'll keep working on those things, and I'll report back as we get a little further along.
Can I stop you 1 second, Jim? I got a question. In the last meeting, we had a vote for this engagement letter. Was that a legal vote? I'm just asking because I thought you couldn't vote to hire somebody if you already had a personal relationship with that law firm. Is that, or am I wrong?
I don't know that that's, I mean, we hired him for a particular person.
But I mean, based on your letter, based on your email, there is a personal relationship here. Are we allowed to do that?
I thought we would be, yes.
Okay.
I didn't necessarily a problem.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay, thank you, go ahead.
On the jail repairs, we've got a work session coming up on that today, so I just make a note of that. There's a couple of commissioner items in today's agenda, one having to do with the appointment of the alternate member. I don't know if you want to talk about that now or just talk about it later, but I had some comments on it. Same thing on county tourism. I guess we can just defer that
We got
to,
them under commissioner items.
you can take that under commissioner items. And then you already took care of the agreement to replace the Milner Tile Shellberger new arm. So that's all I have.
All you got?
Yep.
Anyone have anything else for Jim?
I do not.
Kevin? Okay. Moving on, the auditor's report.
Okay, I have your April 15th regular commissioner meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and second to approve the, which one were they? The April
April
15th
15th.
minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then I have the executive session for the litigation and security also on the 15th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the litigation and security executive session minutes on April 15th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then I have the executive session also on the 15th for the appointment of public official.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second to approve the executive session for the appointment of public officials. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, claims we're going to be doing slightly different because of Dossett Consulting. So we'll be doing the claims, regular claims and payroll claims as separate. So I have the payroll claims for this meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the payroll claims.
So moved. Second.
Motion made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the regular claims,
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the regular claims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
and the last thing I have is the annual report of Congressional School Fund and the Common School Fund. The Congressional Township Fund is $21,222.93, and the Common School Fund is $50,030.48. That is an annual that has to be approved and by the commissioners and reported to the state. So I just need a motion for that.
Motion to approve the annual report.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the annual report of the Congressional Township Fund and Common School Fund. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is that all you have, Angie?
That is all I have.
Why do we have to split the payroll and the claims?
According to Jeff Dossett, we receive incentive monies from 4D.
4D money? Okay.
And essentially, if we do it as one, we get $3 in incentive money. If we do them as two, we can get $9 in incentive money. Essentially, so it's just a little extra the county can get for incentive money by doing them separately.
Okay, all right.
Okay, we're down to public comments. Anyone here have anything they want to comment on? I see two gentlemen coming up here. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Please both state your name and titles.
I'm Nelson Chipman. I live at 16465.
We don't need your address, it's just
All right.
title. Thank you.
I'm the prosecutor, Mercer County Prosecuting Attorney.
I'm Jonathan Bryant. I'm a detective sergeant with the Sheriff's Department.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, when word got out that the county had received a considerable sum of money for opioid settlement, the thought that hit me was the pure irony of calling it opioid settlement funds. There's nothing settled about the opioid situation in this country, let alone in this county. We're in a war. We are virtually in a war, and we are in need of weapons to fight it effectively. I understand there's the difference between, or I know the primary difference of restricted funds and unrestricted designation of these funds. But in that sense, though, I encourage the county to not only the MOU, but also to adopt a screening process of these requests for these funds, so that arguments can be made by the applicants as to the appropriate use and effectiveness of those funds. And I'll turn it over to Detective Sergeant Jonathan Bryant to talk about the weapons that we're in need of.
Thank you. Good morning. For the past few years, the Drug Task Force, we were self-sufficient. We were able to generate funds through seizures during our cases, whether it be monies through investigations or personal property that we seize, and then by law, we're allowed to sell and then use as buy money and purchase equipment for investigations. Up till now, a lot of our equipment that we use, recording devices, cameras, they're at the very least 6 years old. So the technology is breaking down. The batteries that are within it are aging, and we're having a problem even getting support from the manufacturers to replace or repair our equipment. Initially, it was all purchased under a grant. To date, we have never come before the commissioners or any council asking for funding. There is no municipality within the county that funds the Drug Task Force. There's no recurring fund. There's no line item. That being said, with our aging equipment, we are in need of assistance. I compiled a wish list, if you will, of recording devices, cameras, covert things that we use in our investigations. And the total of that from the two manufacturers that we primarily use is $17,091.99 to be exact. We also are in need of buy money funds. Each investigation that we do where we purchase narcotics in and around Marshall County, we buy the substance from whoever is dealing it, and most times they walk away with our money and we don't get a refund unless we, arrest them right away. So that money, it's not reoccurring. In any given year, we can spend up to and over $26,000 just in purchasing narcotics in and around Marshall County. We recently, the case, Kevin, you brought up in Bourbon, that one specifically, we could have spent $17,000 in one purchase. We opted not to because of funding restrictions, but we need to find a way to long-term invest in the drug task force and fund us. That being said, I know there's different funds, and I don't understand all of how funding works and where we can get money from, but a long-term investment for the DTF for the next few years, I would request $80,000 in buy funds if we can come up with that, in addition to purchasing the camera equipment as well. And it's not just narcotics investigations that DTF is involved in. We've been involved in and we've been instrumental in solving multiple homicides within the county. The Mercedes Lane case, we knew a lot of the actors in that case, which helped ultimately resolve that situation as well.
You said 80,000, you looking at 80,000 per year? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I think, an 80,000 per year would probably be an overinvestment.
Okay.
At this point, 80,000 with the money that we have left in the buy fund, it would give us a long-term solution to our buy funds, and then with the camera equipment, if we could stretch those along for the next few years, we would be okay as far as funding, and we could continue to be active.
Since he has quotes for equipment, which I don't think we want him to present to us because
No.
it becomes public record.
Right.
But I would make a motion that we support the purchase of the equipment through the ARPA funding, since we can use those invoices and take the ARPA money. At least we have a trail for that, at least get that purchased for him. And then if we can look at that unrestricted money through the opioid, maybe we try and get some of that for you. But I think it's something that we desperately need to help the drug task force and the prosecutor's office into, as they said, we're battling the war.
Angie, could we put a line in our budget to help them, or say a buy fund, or does it have to go through a different department? In our commissioner's budget?
I don't know that
That's what I
question
was
answer
thinking.
off the top of my head.
Yeah.
You could probably put it in there. I would say the prosecuting attorney might be a good option for that because they're going to see more of the ins and outs of that. And I will say we have no opioid unrestricted money right now. That has all been,
It's all gone.
that's all gone until we get another draw, which I don't know when that will be, nor do I know how much that will be.
I'm not sure we can count on that.
No.
It's so sporadic, and they tell us one thing, and it happens, another thing
And
happens.
it drags
and so-
out, and definitely the future draws of restricted and unrestricted will be less money
Less
than
and
they've
less.
been in the past.
I guess I would be in favor of budget time. Like you said, I'd be in favor of going along and buying the cameras out of ARPA funding, but also maybe looking how we put a line in the budget to do a yearly instead of a lump sum that will last you several years, maybe to try to do a yearly.
I appreciate that.
How much-
Add what you've got.
What do you think it would take from now until the end of the year? 30,000?
It just depends.
Just depends.
It's
We
hard to
don't know.
answer that.
It's a
Yeah, I mean,
moving target?
As you know, we basically just started back up, and we had a year and a half of inactivity, and we
Right.
watched, crime rates spike. We watched, everything be affected by our investigation. So, I appreciate your support in making an investment, not just us, but, it's the overall community safety as well.
Can you check with the state board and see if we
See what we
can,
can
if
do.
the commissioners can do that and if we are allowed to, we could ask the council for an additional appropriation to help them out.
Right. I
Out of the
think
general
that-
fund.
But I think long-term, we try to get the budget,
And then-
line item budget somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we
so
get
they
them
have
started,
budget,
then
yeah.
at budget time, we can put them in for 2025 and
Yeah, each year. Are you broke now?
No. No.
Okay, you can go a little bit.
Yeah, and the funds ran and controlled by the prosecutor's office, so we have a ledger, all the funds are accounted for. You know, we're pretty strict with each cent, honestly.
I would have to call an art committee meeting, but I will do that just to talk about your cameras.
Thank
And
you.
we'll go from there, okay?
Thank you, sir.
And then we can bring it back.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
thanks.
Let me ask you guys, if the art committee approves it, you want me to bring it back here first or just take it straight to the council for funding? What do you want to do? You want to make a motion now to support it?
I make a motion that we support the use of the ARP funds for equipment for DTF, out of the ARP funds,
And I know he's got 17, I would,
up to 20,000.
up to 20,000.
Okay.
Yep. And
I'll
so
second that.
if the ARP committee approves it, then
Just take it straight to the council and
Yep.
get it
Then
moving.
he can
Okay.
just give the invoices to Angie and
Yep,
they
we pay them that way.
Okay. Thank you very much.
make them a prepay.
so I made the motion, he seconded.
Motion made second to take it to the art committee with a recommendation, favorable recommendation to up to $20,000 for equipment for the DTF. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Want to make it a prepay now?
I make a motion to go ahead and make that a prepay with the invoice submitted to Angie, and Angie can just take care of it.
Second.
Motion made second to also make that a prepay with the invoice being submitted to our auditor's office. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Anyone else have anything to say publicly? Nothing? Okay, we'll move on to the commissioner items. The first one here is we have the prosecutor's child support copier purchase. I believe that's from correct me, Nelson, 4D incentive, correct? Grant? 4D incentive grant, and it's going in the child support office, and it was
4,008.
$4,898.10. And there's a discussion, I think, $5,000 that goes on the asset management list, correct? But this is just under, so.
Yeah, this is
but
under the asset.
It's still an asset, but, so he has the money to pay for it himself, he's just looking for approval.
Motion to approve as presented for $4,898.10.
Second.
Motion made second for the prosecutor's office to purchase a copier in an amount of $4,898.10. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the BZA alternate appointments. And I think I sent you guys an email last week. Our three appointments on the BZA are Trent Bennett, Jeff Gustafson, and Matt Miller. So I don't know what you guys are thinking you want to do. And I do have a question for you, Jim. Can we appoint another person off the BZA, or do we have to get somebody outside the BZA? Is there rules on that?
Well, I think, no, we can't appoint another person to the BZA.
From the BZA, excuse me, from the Plan Commission to the BZA.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
well, you can do either way. I mean, that's,
Okay.
it's depending on what you want to do. Typically, Ty has, when one of the BZA members is not attending, in order to get 5 members there or quorum, he'll see if one of the Plan Commission members can fill in at the BZA. And you can do that, which is what he's been doing, or if you want to, like the county council did, appoint an alternate to fill in when one of them's missing, you can do that too.
So do you want to find an alternate, or you want
Is
somebody?
Michelle Mira's she's not on the BZA, is
No,
she?
her and Terry Barnhart would probably be the two from the Plan Commission if you was looking. That would go that direction, ask if they would be interested in just filling in an emergency situation.
I would be happy with either one of those ladies.
Yes.
And that'll give Ty options.
Yeah,
Both of them are Plan Commission members now.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
So
correct.
your resolution will adopt that in the event a BZA member that was appointed by you all was unable to attend, that the director can have Terry or Michelle
Correct.
fill
as
in.
an alternate. Yes.
And it's at his discretion, or whoever can make
Yeah.
it, or whatever
Whoever can make it,
case
Yep.
might be.
Yep.
Okay. We can take care of that.
I'm good with that.
Yep.
So you want to draw that up and we can
Yeah.
approve it next meeting?
Yep.
Okay. And then, thank you. The next item is Marshall County Tourism Board appointments. We had, I'm not going to go through the list. We had 8 appointments. 8 applications. We had 6 that basically met the criteria we felt for tourism backgrounds. We had 2 that admittedly themselves, they don't have that. I guess we're not required because we do have just have to have a majority in tourism. So I guess what's the board's wishes? Do you have anything in mind?
We have, what, 2 with 1 year?
2 of your appointments will expire December 31st of this year. 3 of your appointments will expire December 31st of next year. Every remaining term will be 2 years. So whoever will expire December 31st of this year, January, you'll have to either reappoint that person or appoint someone new for a full 2-year term.
I would make a motion to appoint Angela Bosley to the 1 year, or the term ending December 31st of 2024.
Second.
Motion made second to appoint Angela Balsley to the term ending December 31st, 1-year term. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Got 4 more. Who you got in mind?
I will make a motion to appoint Brian Teal to a term ending December 31st, 2025.
Second.
Motion been made and second to appoint Brian Teal to a term ending in 2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I said aye. I'm sorry. I did say aye. I was right.
Check the recording. Okay, anybody got anything else in mind? That's 2, we've got 3 more to go.
I guess I'll keep going. I'll make a motion to appoint Mark Demore
Yep.
to a term ending in 2024.
Second.
2024, okay. That'd be this year.
Yep.
Okay. Motion made second to appoint Mark Demore to a term balance this year ending in 2024. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Make a motion to appoint Matt Hobermail from Swan Lake to a term ending in 2025.
Motion made and excuse me, I'm sorry, you second.
I'm going to recuse myself because I have part-time employment at Swan Lake.
Okay, I will make that motion.
I made the motion.
I second your motion, I'm sorry. I apologize. Motion been made second to approve Matt Hovermail to a term ending in 2025, December 31st. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I abstained.
You abstain.
We have
Thank you.
one more 2-year term.
You have 1 more that will expire, that you need to appoint, that will expire 12/31 of '25.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Wyatt Steffen from Potawatomi Park.
Second.
Motion been made second for our final appointment to Wyatt Steffen, ending in 2025, from the Potawatomi Park. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would just like to say thank you to all who applied. I mean, it was a very good group. There was really nobody in there couldn't have done the job. We just had some restrictions we had to follow.
And I would also say, Stan, I would like to add that we did not, for the public understanding, we did not have anybody from the previous board
Yeah.
who filled out an application that was received for this new board.
I think in-
The mayor appointed Tracy Huyen for initial term to expire 12/31/24, and Jim Hartung for initial term to expire 12/31/2025, and he was here a little while ago and was wondering the process before. I guess I would suggest you follow what you did with the sewer board, nominate somebody to be chair that would organize at least the initial meeting of your board.
Get it going.
Get going.
And I would like to ask that Brian Teal be the chairperson of that first meeting until the board assembles to elect their own chair.
He just threw his head back.
I'm going to say,
That bus ran right over him.
It did.
It's been running over me, and I've just longed for somebody to run over.
I'll second that motion. I think Brian would be a good person to do that.
he's going to shoot you.
I know.
Motion been made and second to appoint Brian Teal to
Interim
organize and
chairman,
coordinate
or whatever.
interim
Yep.
manager, whatever you want to call it, to get the process started. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, we have.
I was gonna go with somebody else, but since he was sitting out there in the audience, I mean, he showed up.
That's what happens if you show up or if you don't show up.
I have a couple more things here. Number one on the list is last meeting, we approved vehicle for the health department. It's an Edge for 36,544. Steve Kaiser called me the other day, I think it's Thursday or Friday. He has that vehicle located, exactly color and everything. It's been picked out, and I'd like to do a prepay, so when it gets here, we can pay for it and just go on.
This
Don't
is
have
for
to
the
wait.
health department?
It's for the health department. It's ones we already approved.
Do we have money for it
Yeah,
someplace?
it's already there.
That's already been
It's
appropriated.
already been appropriated, everything's
All
done.
right.
Just a matter, I just want the prepay so we can pay for it and go on, so.
Motion to approve.
He's waiting for a phone call today, so. or he
Second.
Gets it. Motion been made, second, to authorize a prepay for the Edge for the health department. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Is this an additional vehicle or are they trading?
Additional, that's a two we approved last meeting, one of the
Okay.
two. Okay, there's a truck and the Edge.
Okay.
And the second thing is, I sent you an email, I didn't send you one, Mike, because of previous agreements. Steve did tell me he's having trouble getting that vehicle for the health and for the building department. We've had orders since last August, approved an order since last August. The money's there to pay for it. And so what I'd like to do is cancel that order and replace it with a Maverick, small pickup truck. It gets about 29 mile a gallon, 25 combination highway and city. It'll lower our cost about 40%, I figure, in fuel, what we're spending. And it's about $300 more than the, I gotta find my notes here, about $300 more than what we paid for the other. And where's my notes here? Oh, here it is, I'm sorry. Price on that vehicle, Marshall County price is $29,399. They're still gonna honor the trade-in even though it's a year later, $83,07, and it comes out to $21,092.
So we're trading the current truck in?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good.
I think it's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think we need it sitting around here.
No, and it's been a good truck, but it's got a bunch of miles on it. It's been a great truck, but got a bunch of miles on it. I'm waiting for something to go
I'll
wrong.
make a motion that we approve the purchase of the, what is it?
It's a Maverick.
Maverick. When I think of Maverick, I think of
Yeah.
back in the 70s.
No,
but
it's like your smaller, it's like your smaller Ranger. No, I can't see Chuck in a little Maverick. I'll be honest with you, I was concerned ever since Steve left and Chuck come on, because we had him a skateboarder, and I thought, oh my goodness, that thing gonna fit him?
So I'll make that motion that we approve the purchase of the Maverick.
I'll second that. Motion been made second to approve the cancellation of the vehicle on order, the Escape, and to replace it with the Maverick for a net trade-in price of $21,092. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have one abstention. Okay? Let me get back to my notes here. I had more. Also, if you remember, we did approve a while back these cases, these pad cases that the election board has to let the sheriff's department use them for ammo and whatever they could use. She still has some left over she can't get rid of. You remember them plastic cases? You remember what I'm talking about? And she still has some she can't get rid of. She's got, I don't know, 15 or so. I don't remember what the amount is. I think they took some, what they wanted. Problem is these things, to use them anywhere else, nobody will take them unless we rip all that foam and spend time and money ripping all that foam and everything out of them. So we can't get rid of them. So she has employees would like to have some, and I told her no, not without commissioner approval, because they are an asset. So she wanted to know what we could and couldn't do. She'd just like to get rid of them somehow.
This is the clerk,
Clerk, yes, I'm sorry.
so you want to find that they're of no value
They're of
and the
no
clerk
value.
can dispose of them in any way she wishes.
Good idea.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I'll make a motion that we allow the clerk to dispose of there's no value to these cases, and they're not being utilized anymore, so I would leave it up to the discretion of the clerk to disperse them.
Second.
Motion made second to allow the clerk to disperse of these old cases. Since there's no value, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next time I have it, just the other day I received a message from Stephen Swire. Evidently our agreement with them for their insurance services has never been signed again. They need that re-signed. They have a docu-sign. I would not sign it without coming to the commissioners to make sure it's approved. I would suggest we send it to Jim, let him look at it before we sign it. It's just basically their yearly agreement like we've done in the past, because see, they don't get a commission, they work on base a fee, correct? So, I just got it, I think Friday afternoon late.
Okay.
So that's why I was gonna bring it in here, and if you guys, send it to Jim, have it looked at. And then
I'll make a motion that we allow the president of the Board of Commissioners to sign the agreement for our Gibson Insurance after review by Jim Clevenger.
Second.
Motion made second to approve the agreement with the Gibson after review by the county attorney with the president of the board signing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Let me think, I got one more thing here. Robert Lichtenberger called last week, and there was there was a meeting up at his office with a representative from the towns and the county commissioner, discussing, just so everybody knows, discussing how could we work together going forward on issues. And a lot of it was the READY grant funding and things like that. And basically, there was a discussion because they want now collaboration, and they want a variety of projects. And if it's housing, they want multiple use housing. They want, that's what they're looking for. I did state the fact that as far as when the housing comes, we have no housing projects. We don't do that, but probably where we could help was with maybe some quality of life issues around some of these projects. So just letting you know what happened was there. They're planning on keep doing it again and getting together from time to time. And it's just an effort to try to collaborate between the towns and the county. So if anyone has any questions or any concerns or anything, let me know.
Nothing different than when we did Stellar.
No. And I think, look at my notes here. Robert, that's copier, Stephen Swire. We approved Jenny. Okay, I think that's all I got.
Mr. President, can I revisit
Yes.
a couple things? Are you going to inform the members of the tourism board who was appointed and for when, and who, thank you letter to those that we didn't appoint? Or do you want the auditor to do that, or how do you want that done?
Oh, maybe you.
I would ask our attorney to prepare a letter letting those individuals that we have identified who are on the board, and also thanking those who applied, and appreciation for their application.
I can set that up for all three of you to sign. And then the other thing too is should I check with Terry and Michelle on the plan commission before we do
Yeah.
a resolution with BZA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think you saved postage on one.
Pardon me?
I think you saved postage on one letter. So that's all I got. You have anything?
I do not.
Do you have anything, Kevin?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.